Budweiser and the Miller here.
Well, he's doing just that with the Budweiser and the Miller. And Steve Reynolds, you mentioned the wind, and we do have a north wind in that back chute. The rollers, they're there. No question about it. Could that be a problem?
I think so. You know, when the boats start coming back chute, they're going to encounter rollers as well as wind. It's going to make it kind of tricky.
All right, Miss Pietro's is the alternate boat. Mike, that has to go off the course at the 1 minute gun?
That would be correct. She'd have to pull off. No, not at the 1 minute. She's allowed to start behind the rest of them. If all are on the plane and running at the 1 minute gun, she'll have to trail them at the start line.
You got it. Miss Madison still having problems down on the Finger Pier now with only seconds to get started. It looks like she will not even get out on the water, but she is the second alternate. The Pietro's the first alternate. We go 5 laps. It'll be 10 miles, a 2-mile course, and the winner takes it all. Michael?
The 1 minute gun about 2 seconds away right now, and the mind games are being played, gentlemen. They're all over each other out there right now. Chip Hanauer, Scotty Pierce, Tommy DeEath watching each other. They're just fooling around like a bunch of buzzards over a carcass right now, looking for a place to try to stick it. And even John Prevost is in the thick of that as well, and even Mitch is there. So it's very, very interesting as they move up. And it seems as though they're just a tad to the early side once again. I don't know, Larry, what do you think? They seem to be getting into the turn just a tad earlier than they should.
You're right, Mike. They are a little anxious. It's only about a 20-second run from the entrance pin in the corner down there, and they're way early. They came by there about 28 seconds, so they're all a little anxious. But they'll all scrap off a little bit of speed here.
Well, Scotty's taking your advice, because he's going to be the widest guy, and he's going to get up ahead of steam as he comes around with 15 seconds on the clock. The Bud will be on the inside, lane 1, and he's down on speed right at the moment, but he certainly has excellent acceleration. Circus lane 2. The Miller will be on the 5th lane. Right outside of him will be Scotty Pearson. Scott's got a good head of steam as they come to the line. Everybody's right on time. They go down to the lower corner, and 4 turbines are powering into that low corner right now. Look at that shot. Beautiful.
Oh, that's as pretty as I've ever seen. Beautiful.
Beautiful turn for the Miss Budweiser also. And Tom DeEath has great cornering speed. On the outside, that's Scott Pierce. He's got the RPMs up. Whoa, lots of lane room too. Everybody's clean coming out. And up the back chute, it is Tom DeEath and the Miss Budweiser rocketing ahead. And this is for all the marbles. And right behind him is John Prevost in the Circus, keeping the pressure on. In behind him, Mr. Pringles, and rather is the Miller, and then Mr. Pringles. 4 boats. Look at that. We're taking a pounding up in that north corner as the Miss Budweiser. Whoa! Gets very loose. Shows us the whole underside. That could be a problem. Tommy DeEath, though, comes down flat, finishes lap number 1, and his lap speed 129.35 over the Circus with a 2.54 second lead. And we've got a hot one again coming down into that lower corner as 4 boats are right in striking distance. Through the lower corner once again, the Miss Budweiser's handling is super. And the Circus is quite wide, forcing Chip Hanauer even wider yet. And Scott Pierce is in 4th position, trailing back just a ways. All right, now overtaking the Circus into 2nd place. Actually, deck on deck with John Prevost is Chip Hanauer. Both of them within a second of taking over the lead from the Budweiser. And Chip is starting to make a move.
Chip looks faster than he's looked all day long.
When you talk about final heat, you talk about drivers getting tough, that's when Chip Hanauer really shines.
Yeah,
he is really tough when it comes to final heat.
Chip has come to race, no doubt about it. Miss Budweiser, the leader again at the entrance, at the end rather, of lap number 2, and he has a 2.6 second lead. That lap 123 for the Bud, 124 for the Miller. Through the lower corner now. Once again, Miss Budweiser. The boat is handling nicely, cornering nicely, but it does get a little on the loose side, as we've seen 2 or 3 times. Chip is staying much hotter through the corner this time. And up the back chute, the Miss Budweiser airing out.
Scotty Pierce is faster than the Circus on the straightaways, but in the corner, the Circus corners better, and Scotty loses his advantage on each corner.
That's exactly what's happening. Circus holding down 3rd, the Mr. Pringles in 4th. Trailing back is the Seacoast in 5th. Now in the north corner, here's your race. Budweiser on the inside, lap number 3. On the outside, it is the Miller High Life with Chip Hanauer driving, and he's staying very tight on the corner and just against the wake of the Miss Budweiser.
Larry, can he catch him in 2 laps that close?
I don't think so, Wayne. I think Tommy's got his guys in the crew telling him how close Chip is. Although Chip's he's a never die driver. He'll never give up. He'll push Tommy all the way. But I think Tommy's got the boat speed. He can hold Chip off in the final lap.
And now the Mr. Pringles in fourth place has slipped by the Circus. Scotty Pierce has overtaken the Circus on this straightaway, but they're very tight as they go into the corner. There you see John Prevost on the inside, Scotty on the outside, as they're trying to make up some ground on that Mr. Pringles and try to overtake the Circus. Once more, passing the traffic of the Seco, the Hanauer and DeEath duel continues, and Chip is keeping his foot hard on it now. Look at that Pringles and Circus battle, though. We've got a great battle for first and second, and a great battle for fourth and fifth. Third and fourth, rather. Fifth is the Seacos, and she's in traffic in there, almost a full lap down. All right, out of the upper corner now. We're on lap number 4. And we have the Miss Budweiser out front. The water's getting real rough, real rough. There's some big holes up there. 122.5 for the Bud and 122.3 for the Miller High Life. Circus and Pringles still going at it here for third and fourth. Some good boat racing and delighting the fans. Look at Chip Hanauer down through the lower corner working on the Miss Budweiser. I mean, he is really putting the pressure on it. I don't know. This could be the go for broke lap for him. It has to be, of course, the final time around. And Chip is starting to gain some ground on the back chute. Chip Hanauer now a buoy behind. We're talking very, very tight here. Let's get a time interval, and we're not talking about very much at all because Chip is just about to close it in. 1 second back, 1 second, now less than that. Hanauer is going to dive deep into the turn on the outside in an attempt to overtake Tommy DeEath. He is working on him. We're going to have a drag race for the finish, but I think Tom DeEath's acceleration will do it for the Budweiser. Yes, it will. Tommy DeEath wins the Budweiser Seafair Cup. 126 for Tommy, 129 for Chip. You know he was working on it. Let's see what the third and fourth battle looks like. It'll be the Circus running away from the Pringles. Circus, third overall. Mr. Pringles, fourth. And bringing up the rear, it will be the Seco Aviation Fuels, almost a full lap behind and coming out of the north turn.
Gentlemen, one of the best races around the fourth pin that I think I've ever seen is those two boats. The margin just kept getting shorter. You go 10 laps, Chip might win it, but the race was built for only 5.
Maybe even one more half a lap and he might have, but the acceleration that Steve has noticed coming off that Budweiser every single time out of the corner certainly been the measure of victory today.
Yeah.
No
Larry,
question about it.
What'd you think, Larry?
Well, it's basically how I figured it would come out. You know, I ran against Chip and Tommy in the earlier heat. Chip and I both had a little lead on Tommy in the first lap, and Tommy drove under the Miller boat and got around him on the inside. So I knew that Tommy had the horsepower to do it. Now, I kind of expected Tommy to be on the outside. They kind of fooled me there, but I think Tommy had backed off. The crew guys were telling him how close Chip was, and just a matter of Chip put on a heck of a charge, and it looked good for the crowd. But I think Tommy had him covered all the way.
Well, in the fracas, gentlemen, we lost the Jackpot Food Mart, but I'll tell you what, Jerry Hopp isn't going to be too worried about how it came out in the final. He's just delighted to have done what he did today, too.
We're going to have our cameras near their finger pier, too, because when he gets out of the boat and thinks he's safe and sound, his crew is going to throw him in for winning his first heat race ever.
Chip Hanauer crosses by us now and brings his machine back home. The Budweiser and Tommy DeEath, and this, by the way, is going to be a real emotional victory for Tom DeEath. This is the first time on Lake Washington for a Detroiter who feels very deep in the soles of his shoes the tremendous rivalry that was once Seattle-Detroit, and he sort of scored a victory for the Motor City today. And of course, for a family, he's waving. You can even see him waving inside the cockpit, and it's hard to interact with the drivers inside these closed cockpits, but Tom's definitely given us a wave. No question about it. Happy man. An emotional victory you watch. He will be very emotional. When he won the Bill Brow Trophy for the fastest qualification, it broke him up. He was in tears. He had a tough time with that one. It meant so much to him.
You is Seattle, the Northwest. We love you, bud. Keep it up.
Thanks, pal.
You got it. We're going to go down to the winning pits in a moment. As a matter of fact, there's Tom DeEath. Let's get down there right this minute.
Okay, here we are on the finger pier. The Miss Budweiser has just won here. Tom DeEath and Bernie Little. Tom, is there any question in your mind what's the best boat right now out on the water?
There wasn't any question in my mind when Bernie Little gave me the call, 11:30 Monday night. That's why I said yes, I'll be here.
We've talked about it before. Maybe a little second guessing on your part, thinking, do I want to come out of retirement? What is the feeling? Can you compare winning a race like here in Seafair? Can you compare that to anything?
Can't compare it to nothing. It's the greatest. Fast qualifier, the Bill Brow Memorial, very special to me. I know it's special to Bernie, and I've never won Seafair. I finished second here. It was been my dream and I wanted to make my career complete by at least winning this race once, and thanks to Bernie Little and the Budweiser racing team, they let me do that.
And terrifically close racing, as a matter of fact. Those last laps coming down, it was tight racing.
Oh yeah, Chip, he really did one heck of a job, and so did John Prevost. He was pressing me there in the early part of the race, so that had to be a really great race for the fans to watch. I had a ball. I hope Seattle did.
Bernie, what about you? Happy to have it all done now?
We're powered by Exxon, and so we slicked it all the way through.
Bernie Little and Tom Deeth, the winners in the Miss Budweiser camp. Wayne?